Leclerc's own manager just dropped a bombshell. 2026 could be his final year in a Ferrari. And the tension inside Maranello is boiling over. Is Leclerc walking away? Has Ferrari already lost him behind the scenes? Or is a rival team about to make the move of the decade? If this rupture isn't fixed, Ferrari risks losing its most loyal driver and possibly triggering a full team reset before 2026 even starts. We've uncovered the hidden statement, the internal fallout, and the teams circling like sharks, so hit that subscribe button now and don't miss what could be Ferrari's biggest turning point in years. Charles Leclerc was once seen as the future of Ferrari. He was their golden investment, the young talent signed long-term to lead the next championship charge. But in the space of a few days, everything has shifted. The calm post-season atmosphere at Maranello has exploded into whispers, leaks, and outright tension after a single, unexpected interview by Leclerc's manager, one that suggested his time with the team may already be running out. The statement came without warning and wasn't part of any planned media cycle. Nicolas Todt, Leclerc's longtime manager and advisor, made an offhand remark that sent the F1 world spinning. If the environment isn't aligned with Charles's ambitions in 2026, we will have to look at alternatives. For Ferrari, this wasn't just a red flag, it was a direct message. A warning shot that their star driver, the face of the team's rebuild, is reconsidering his future. Ferrari's leadership has long believed they had Leclerc secured emotionally and contractually. But the reality is more fragile than they thought. Leclerc has watched the team stumble through development misfires, questionable strategy calls, and now a 2026 car concept that may not deliver. That kind of pressure builds over time. And Todt's words didn't come from nowhere. They came from months of tension behind closed doors, where optimism has quietly turned into frustration. The 2026 regulation overhaul is Ferrari's next big bet. It's meant to reset the balance of power and allow the team to catch up with the likes of Red Bull and Mercedes. But early feedback from testing and internal simulation runs has not been encouraging. And while the team keeps a tight lid on specifics, sources suggest that Leclerc isn't impressed with the direction. His silence in public is being interpreted not as patience, but as distance. In that context, Todt's comment isn't just a media line. It's a negotiation tactic. It's leverage. Ferrari needs Leclerc more than he needs them right now. He's a proven frontrunner, still young, and widely respected up and down the paddock. If he were to become available, teams like Aston Martin, Mercedes, or even Audi's incoming program would be ready to offer him a championship project. And that's what's suddenly on the table, because the warning is now public. Inside Ferrari, the tension is growing. Team principals, technical directors, and driver management are now scrambling to control the narrative. The team has not issued an official statement about Todt's remarks, but the internal reaction has been immediate. Key figures are trying to clarify what went wrong, who approved recent decisions, and how to reassure their number one driver that 2026 will not be another wasted campaign. Because if he loses faith now, the exit door is already half open. What was supposed to be a calm build-up to a new era has instead become a political crisis. And for fans watching from the outside, this may be the clearest signal, yet that Ferrari is on the edge of losing its most valuable asset not because of money, but because of broken trust. And once that trust cracks, there's no easy way back. Nicolas Todt's statement was not an emotional outburst. It was a calculated move crafted and delivered with purpose. Todt is known for being one of the most methodical managers in the sport. He doesn't say things by accident, especially not about Ferrari. His words were aimed squarely at Maranello's leadership, a public reminder that loyalty has limits and that performance, not history, determines a driver's future in this era of Formula One. What made the message hit even harder was its timing. It came just weeks after internal reports suggested that Ferrari's 2026 development program was behind schedule. Correlation issues between simulator and track data, hybrid system concerns, and uncertainty around chassis balance had already raised eyebrows. Todt's comment added fuel to a fire that was already quietly burning within the team. It told the world that Charles was watching and not impressed. Behind the scenes, several sources confirm that Leclerc has grown increasingly frustrated with the lack of direction. While he remains publicly supportive, those close to the garage say his private tone has changed. He has started questioning decisions more openly, pushing for clarity on technical feedback loops, and asking tougher questions about leadership accountability. These are not the actions of a driver who feels secure in his team's path. They're signals of doubt, possibly even exit preparation. From a contract perspective, the timing is critical. Leclerc is currently signed through the end of 2026. But in Formula One, contracts are rarely ironclad. Performance clauses, exit windows, and mutual release mechanisms are standard for top-tier drivers. If the car underperforms, or if Ferrari fails to meet internal development benchmarks, Leclerc could walk, especially if another team offers a more compelling long-term project. Tote's statement may have been a veiled reference to those very clauses. Ferrari's internal power structure is also under pressure. With Lewis Hamilton entering the team, there's a new dynamic at play. If development priorities begin shifting toward Hamilton's feedback, Leclerc may feel pushed into a secondary role, something he's fought hard to avoid since joining the team. Tote's message could also be a defensive play, a reminder that Leclerc's presence at Ferrari is not to be taken for granted amid incoming changes. Strategically, this statement works on two levels. It places pressure on Ferrari to realign around Leclerc's expectations. And at the same time, it quietly alerts the rest of the paddock. Teams with future ambitions like Aston Martin, Audi, or even a rebuilding Mercedes will have taken notice. In driver market terms, it was a flare shot into the sky, signaling that Leclerc could become available under the right conditions. And for a driver of his talent and age, that changes everything. Ultimately, the real weight of Tote's words lies in what they left unsaid. He didn't mention Hamilton. He didn't name specific complaints. He didn't threaten. But what he did do was break the silence. And in Formula One, silence from a driver's camp often means alignment. When that silence breaks, especially like this, it means internal confidence is fading. And once that confidence drops below the surface, the countdown to departure has already begun. Inside Maranello, the atmosphere has shifted from quiet confidence to strategic tension. The moment Tote's statement hit international media, internal departments were summoned for closed-door discussions. Ferrari may have brushed it off publicly, but behind the scenes, senior staff were fully aware of what this meant. Their number one driver's camp had just made the first move in a public negotiation. And if they didn't respond carefully, it could spiral into a narrative they no longer control. Frédéric Vasseur, Ferrari's team principal, and someone with a long-standing relationship with Leclerc, was one of the first to step in. Those close to the team report that Vasseur held private meetings with key personnel to assess the state of the relationship. The problem is, this isn't just about friendship or communication. It's about competitive credibility. Vasseur now finds himself balancing two fires. One, ensuring Hamilton's integration into the team is technically successful. And two, keeping Leclerc emotionally and professionally invested in a project he no longer fully trusts. The engineering team, meanwhile, has been put on silent alert. While they were already under pressure to correct correlation issues between their simulator and 2026 test data, Tote's comment has added an invisible deadline. Every subsystem, every power unit update, every chassis balance report is now not just a technical milestone, it's a political one. If Leclerc continues to feel that his feedback is deprioritized or ignored, it won't just affect morale. It will affect retention. Some within Ferrari's senior leadership are beginning to sense the deeper implications. For years, Ferrari has positioned itself as a team driven by legacy and loyalty. Losing Leclerc not through performance failure, but through a slow erosion of trust would be a reputational blow far beyond points or podiums. It would signal that even Ferrari can't hold on to talent if the internal structure isn't aligned with modern Formula One expectations. That perception would ripple across sponsors, partners, and future prospects. What's also making the situation more volatile is the timing of Lewis Hamilton's arrival. While his onboarding has been handled with professional care, it is naturally creating shifts in engineering priorities. If development starts leaning more heavily on Hamilton's feedback, as is already rumored, Leclerc's influence within the technical group could be diluted. That shift may not be intentional, but perception is everything. And Tote's message may have been timed to push back before that shift becomes irreversible. Strategic advisors within the team are now split. One group believes Ferrari must go public with a show of unity, perhaps a joint appearance, a media day, or a symbolic contract reaffirmation. Another camp argues that silence is safer, that acknowledging the tension would only escalate the story. But time is not on their side. The more days pass without a direct answer to Tote's statement, the more the perception builds that Ferrari is reacting, not leading. And through it all, Leclerc himself remains quiet. No interviews, no social posts, no denial. And in modern Formula One, that silence speaks louder than any press release. It suggests that the message from his manager was not unauthorized. It was authorized. It was calculated. And unless Ferrari takes steps to rebuild confidence both in the car and in the vision, they may be looking at their final season with the driver they once called the face of the future.